Now let's discuss some basic rules and reminders to keep in mind when we are doing research on key Quranic words. The first and the foremost, this is an ayah which says that shall I seek other than Allah as hikam, lawmaker, judge, when it is Allah who has brought down to you the kitab fully detailed. This ayah, as well as many other ayahs in Quran, gives us an important message that Allah is the only hikam, the only lawmaker, the only judge in matters of deen. And all the laws of Allah as per Deen Islam are mentioned in Quran. Therefore, Quran is the only source of deen. Let's look at another ayah. Since the only, if you look at this particular ayah, Allah has ordained for you the same deen as He has ordained upon Noah and what we have revealed to you and what enjoined upon Ibrahim and Musa and Isa. Akimo the deen, establish the deen and not be divided therein. This is a difficult and a big task for those who are mushrikeen, what you call them too. Since the only hikam, the only lawmaker in deen is Allah, whoever follows any laws other than the laws of deen, then that is shirk. And therefore it is akbar, a big task, very difficult for the mushrikeen not to be divided into sects and groups by following other man-made laws. Above ayah is very, very clearly telling us that if we follow any of the kitab of Allah, then we will be following all the Anbiya, since every Nabi and Rasul got the same hidayah, the same kitab, the same hukumat. Therefore, we cannot pick and choose one particular Nabi to follow his laws. We have to pick the kitab and follow the commandments of Allah as ordained in the kitab in order to avoid shirk, since Allah is the only hikam, the only lawmaker, the only judge in matters of deen. Another important rule is identified in this and in many other ayahs as well, that observe what is in the skies and the earth, but of no avail will be ayat and the warners to people who do not amanu, who do not seek knowledge. Here we need to understand the two key foundations of deen, which are ayat and the word amanu or iman. The word ayat means sign. Any sign of Allah which includes both the kalam of Allah as words in the Quran as well as the creation of Allah in science and universe. Ayat also means to pause, to think and to reflect. In fact, the definition of ayat only gets completed when we think and we ponder. The word amanu basically means to seek knowledge, to be at aman. To be at aman by using one's faculties, especially your akal, brain, thinking and intellectual faculties. Be at aman, peace, harmony and goodwill with others, and be at aman in terms of being upholders of one's covenant and misaq with Allah. So what this ayah is basically telling us, that those who do not amanu, who do not seek knowledge, who do not use their faculties and akal, for them the ayat is not an ayat at all, because the definition of ayat is not completed if you are not amanu. This is another ayah, but what it basically shows is the importance of thinking and intellect. It shows the use of our faculties, especially of that akal, as the basic foundation of ayat to become an ayat. The basic foundation of deen rests on one's use of akal. Otherwise, as per Quran, we cannot even fall deaf, dumb and blind on Allah's ayat. We cannot blindly follow anyone or anything, even Allah's ayat. We have to use our akal. We have to use our intellect and faculties. Another reminder as apparent from this ayat, and the earth will shine and the light of its Rabb, and the kitab will be placed, and the nabeen and the shuhada will be brought, and it will be judged between them in haqq. Here the word kitab is used in both the meanings of our record of deed as well as the kitab revealed by Allah. This means that the accountability on the day of judgment is going to be based on the kitab, that is not only our deeds, but in accordance with the kitab, the book revealed by Allah. The word haqq needs to be defined a bit more. If you look at the meaning of the word haqq, it's used in Quran in multiple meanings. The absolute truth, which means that the truth at its best. There cannot be any doubt, any possibility of any doubt or any falsehood in the Deen. The Deen is absolute justice, justice at its best. Haqq is also used in Quran in the meaning of someone's due right, based on Allah's solid judicial principles. And it also refers to our duties and responsibilities as a Muslim. So what these ayahs are basically saying is that when Allah says Deen is Haqq, it means there cannot be any falsehood, any injustice of any kind as per Deen. There cannot be any doubt, there cannot be any injustice. Also, Deen is Haqq upon us as a bare minimum duty, obligation and responsibility as a Muslims. So we need to keep these basic rules and reminders in mind that Deen is Haqq in all these meanings. Another basic rule and reminder to keep in mind is that there is no ikraha, force, dislikeness, compulsion in Deen. And there is no hardship on you in practicing your Deen. So what these ayahs are basically telling us that there is no concept of any force, any compulsion, any pressure or hardship as per Deen, as per these laws of Islam as mentioned in the Quran. There is no possibility of any force or compulsion or any hardship at all. This is one of the another important reminder to keep in mind that Quran and Deen is one consistent source. There is no possibility of any contradiction, any dispute, any ikhtilaf in it. So if we look at this particular ayah, there is no concept of any contradiction among any ayahs in Quran. It is consistent and aligned and synchronized. This is one of the most important basic reminders to keep in mind. What this reminder means is that if any concept from any ayah that you're understanding contradicts any other basic rule or any other ayah, then that understanding needs to be reviewed. For example, consider the example of the general understanding that Allah is ordaining beating of wife in ayah 434. If this is the case, then this concept contradicts not only the basic rule of no injustice, no force, no compulsion as per Deen, but clearly contradicts many other ayahs. For example, ayah 30:21, where Allah describes a husband and wife relationship as one of the ayat of Allah, wherein they both are created from the same nafs so that they find sukoon and affection and tranquility in each other, wherein Allah has placed rahmat between them. Then how is it possible that Allah then advises the husband to beat his wife? There cannot be any contradiction between any ayahs of the Quran. What needs to be done as we move along in our study of Quran is that we cannot rush. We have to invest time. If you want to get the hidayah, it's going to take time and efforts. So be ready. Blind following is easy, right? But to come out of your comfort zone, to think, to research, and to be on hidayah, it's not. In fact, this is the exact definition of doing abd, to become abid, which is to go through a small hassle and trouble in order to seek long-term and permanent benefits. So while doing research and study Quran, we have to use our akal. We have to use our intellect and reasoning. This is the important power that Allah has blessed us with. Never ignore whatever questions comes to your mind. No matter how stupid that question might sound, ask. At most time, Allah addresses that particular question within the next couple of ayahs and almost always within the Quran itself. It's amazing as if Allah is reading our minds. Ask yourself, ask everyone, seek answers, research, investigate, and do not rest until you have the answer to the question that has come to your mind. So our overall approach to research and understanding Quran should be rational, which works at three broad levels. First and foremost, focus on the primary source of information for Deen, which is Quran. Quran is not just primary source of information for Deen, it is the only source of information. Nothing should be relied upon from external to Quran sources. Secondly, vertically vertical thinking means that whatever I learn from my forefathers, I learn only then and try to pass on the same knowledge to my children. This is blind following. This is vertical thinking. Whereas our approach to understanding Quran should never be vertical. It should never come from blind following. It should be lateral. That is learning from our environment, using our faculties, especially our akal, thinking and reasoning abilities and our intellect. That's how our approach should be to understand Quran. And our approach should be logical. What is prevalent among us as Muslims today is that we think emotionally about Deen. We become emotional while discussing matters of Deen, or we block ourselves completely from such discussion. This is emotional approach to Deen. Quran asks us to approach taking the hidayah, the guidance from Quran in logical, fact-based manner, to use our akal, seek knowledge, seek facts, do research. When it comes to matters of Deen, more so than other matters of our life, we should always base our decision, our approach, our actions on facts, never on emotions or feelings. Why and how the context and order is most important. The word Wazah is used in Quran in the meanings of settings. The word Mawazi is basically means Wazah. It's Wazah, right? So it's used in Quran in the meaning of settings, placement, context, alignment, perspective, circumstances, backgrounds, or framework through which something is originally intended and planned by Allah. Therefore, when Quran uses the word MAWAZIHI or Wazah, it is an action noun denoting something to which Waziha, the act of placement framework, has been done as per its original intended divine design, placement, context, and order. Therefore, as per our experience, the Wazah, the order, the context, and placement of all Quranic ayahs and surahs are extremely important. We must adhere to the Wazah in order to understand the divine guidance. We can never take a phrase or an ayah out of the Quran, out of its Wazah, context, placement, and intended design. You will experience as if you research by keeping the Wazah, you will experience as if Allah is hand holding you, graduating you from a kindergarten to a hidayah as you move from Surah Fatiha to Surah Baqarah and on and on. It's because of this reason that we should never do a topic-wise research. We should always follow the Wazah of the Quran, start from Surah Fatiha, and then move on and then finish the complete Quran first before we do a topic-wise research. So thank you so much for listening to this presentation. So we are going to go into the question answer session. Please note that this session will also be recorded. Therefore, you can switch off your video if you're not comfortable. During the discussion, please, one person talks at a time. Please respect each other's views, opinions, and perspective. Please avoid detailed comments and stick to question only so as to allow addressing the queries. Please keep your questions short and concise so everyone can participate. For everyone or anyone who is not able to ask or who is more comfortable can also contact us with your questions and comments at either you can email us at infowaqt@gmail.com or you can contact us via the contact us website link from our website. Thank you so much.